Well, hello there. This is Seth again. Coming to you midweek. It's middle of November. It's been nice. It was nice, at least for a day, which is good and which I appreciate. In sort of like, I don't know, more of a serene, sort of gentle, childlike manner in a way that I couldn't access for a while, because I wouldn't allow myself to feel that way. It was too sort of simplistic. I told my wife that I couldn't appreciate a sunset because I had seen the sun rise and set at various points in different painful situations in my life. When I was homeless and drinking, when I had been uh, just traumatically hurt by someone I thought cared about me, and this family that I had been connected to because I believe that this was, some supportive family. For me, it's odd. I was in an open relationship with a married woman, and then and it was unique, and it was a thing that I didn't really feel the need to explain to anyone. But once it was over, and the other person was a narcissist sociopath, it was very very difficult, because nobody wanted to provide me with any sympathy, empathy, or understanding because of the nature of the relationship in their mind of what I was doing, even though I cared so much about her husband and defended her husband at various points throughout the relationship and ensured that everything was okay with him, because I would never do anything to hurt another person. But people always have their judgments, and they will always put those upon you, no matter what the truth is. And a lot of times, if that's going to happen, you as a person just need to watch out for yourself. And if you recognize that, just like if you recognize any red flags in any type of abusive relationship, things that I failed to recognize for myself because my abusive relationships were just perpetuating other behavioral patterns of my family's abusive relationship towards me. So being underappreciated, being nagged, being told that I wasn't emotional or caring because I I couldn't be emotionally available at various times, because I was in early recovery and other things like that. And then that being some sort of a justification, as it was in the past when I was with people who literally had psychiatric disorders, one with borderline who's doing really, really well now, and the other with narcissistic personality disorder who'll never get well. But it was in my power, with my compassion, to forgive a person that's ill and will never get well. Um, and I'm not necessarily saying that this is the best way to go about things with problems in your life. But the important thing is that if you have a relationship where you believe that negative things are being said about you, communicated about you in a way where you're not being allowed to fully be yourself, and whether that be a familial relationship or a romantic relationship, um, that can be very harmful for you, even in the time of the relationship and after. I mean, it's very obvious to know in a relationship that is physically abusive is one that you should leave. And I understand that there are all these different psychiatric problems that arise, unfortunately, with primarily women who are in physically abusive relationships. But I myself was, subject to some physical abuse in the past, and would never retaliate, but I just sort of took that as a part of the relationship at the time because I was bigger and stronger and it didn't really matter. But again, that was something, no person should really ever tolerate or go through. But we do these things because we're, you know, various lonely souls and we're just seeking out that sense of belonging. And for me, unfortunately, I I held on in different relationships for too long because those people were attached to families who gave me a different level of support, understanding, and care than I previously had. So, mostly in this intro process, I'm still early in my studies. So I'm more, going to be explaining things about my own life and how I came to be on the path I am and how I want to help. But it's just an initial sort of framework. I know other people are sort of saying things similar to me and have more experience doing so. So I recommend those people. I listen to Zenki Christian Dillo, who's a wonderful Zen teacher. And I found this other woman who does calm meditations, who's in recovery herself, Ashley Papas. But in my experiences, you know, people seem to put themselves and continue to stay in these relationships long past the time that they can allow themselves to release those relationships, release those people, and the negative concepts of them that they may be holding onto, which will then allow them to free themselves of that. Like, I mean, I have various friends and, people that are very close to me who still are bothered by not fulfilling a certain, parental expectation or expectation for themselves. And that might be a reason now or throughout the rest of their life that they're going to deny themselves self acceptance, self love, and self care. And those are things, especially in my experience as a person in recovery, that we shouldn't deny ourselves. Those are the things that are the utmost importance to me, just like people are of the utmost importance to me, despite my career, despite other things. I was born into a capitalist country. It didn't mean I had to ever accept capitalist ideals, even though I do work for money. That's not who I am. My job isn't who I am. Being in recovery isn't who I am. It's just part. These things are all just part of who you are. Nothing defines you other than yourself. So, I just basically what I'm putting out there is that I would wish upon anyone else that they're capable of having the same sorts of insights and not be afraid to have the courage to change the things they can, which comes from the Serenity Prayer in AA. And that means to eliminate negative relationships in their life, no matter the length of the relationship, no matter where the relationship stems from, and no matter how much they would like to sacrifice their well being for the benefit of others. They might need to do that for their own well being, and that has to be of utmost importance. you know, except in yeah, except with doctors in emergency situations and all these other sort of like rare circumstances, and I would put my life on the line for my wife, of course, but those things are you can be selfless towards the people who are there with you, but you got to make sure you're being selfless toward the right person. Because if you're being selfless towards a selfish person, that is the worst thing you could ever possibly do for yourself. So I just wish upon people self revelations, understandings that I kind of wish that I had earlier on in my life, but I'm grateful to have had at the times that I did. Thank you. Take care and love yourself.